One winter night, many years ago, by the Baal Shem Beis Medrash, they had a lot of candles lighting the room, the hall, and the Baal Shem really loved light. And there wasn't enough light, and he wanted more light. But unfortunately, they couldn't find any more candles to add light to the shul, to the synagogue. So what he did, he asked them to go outside. It was a really, really cold night, and it had icicle formation of the spikes of ice coming down from the roofs. And he asked them to take these icicles, these spikes of ice, into the shul. And once they brought them into the shul, he instructed them to light them. And they took the candles from, the regular beeswax candles or whatever they had, and they set them aflame, and they lit. There was a miracle that happened. They actually lit up, and these icicle formations, these spikes of ice, were lighting up like candles. Now, they didn't change their being. They still were frozen chunks of ice, but nevertheless, even though it's opposite of their nature, they ignited, they illuminated, and they miraculously changed the environment by adding more light. The Rebbe actually brings this story in connection with, obviously, Avodas Hashem, of what we should do, that we should also take darkness, we should also take something that is frozen, and also ignite it and illuminate it as well. One of the connections that he brings is in connection with the mind. If there's nothing colder than the mind, as it says in Hayom Yom, that the human mind is so cold, and when the human mind could actually comprehend godliness and be excited about holiness, it's like those icicles that are burning like candles. It's like Tchias HaMesim he actually brings, like the resurrection of the dead, and he brings that in connection with the Alter Rebbe, whose Yom Hilula is this Thursday, this week, and he was able to do that. He actually was able to, through Chassidus Chabad, bring godliness in a very practical way that even the human mind could actually understand and comprehend this otherwise ethereal, hard to understand, hard to comprehend reality or awareness. But with this mystical teachings of Chassidus Chabad, he's able to even ignite the coldness of the mind with Chochmah Bina V'das, with understanding with your own mind, to be a vessel for this awareness. There's an interesting story that I saw, I heard, I didn't see. By Hashgacha Pratis, it was gifted to me that I heard the story, to bring that idea of ice candles and lighting the darkness, so to speak, in somebody's personal life just a few weeks ago. And what's the story? That this individual was learning in yeshiva in Israel at the time, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, this young, healthy, strong, vibrant individual, all of a sudden he started losing his muscles in the hands, his muscles in the legs, and soon, after several days of deterioration, he found himself in the hospital, or they took him to the hospital. And unfortunately, the parents have this horrible phone call that they get from Israel, from the yeshiva. And what is this horrible phone call? This horrible phone call is telling them that they discovered that their son was diagnosed with, Guillain-Barré. It's a certain disease that a person loses their muscle in the whole body, lo aleinu. And this individual was struck with such a variation of it that he literally couldn't move at all. They called to inform the parents that based on his variation of that disease at the time, a couple of decades ago, they saw that the progression of the disease will go into the lungs and also into the heart, especially if he loses the muscles within the lungs and the heart. Basically they're going to have to put him on a respirator and all kinds of horrible things, and as a result, what they've seen before, people usually get pneumonia and they die. So this is an opportunity for them to come to see their son before his death. The father couldn't come because he's working, but the mother was able to come. And the mother came, and she's attending to her son night and day. I mean, he couldn't even move a finger, and it was really hard. And the yeshiva saw how hard it was for her, an elderly lady taking care of her son in such a way. So they actually volunteered. They thought of this for Shabbos, that she should have a little bit of a breather, that they're going to send a bacher to help a little bit with this, to help her out, just to tend to her son, who is an invalid at this moment. He's an invalid, he can't move, nothing at all. So they sent the son, and at the same time they had a certain kind of very experimental treatment that they were giving him with his blood, like cleaning his blood. And this cleaning of the blood maybe could have a certain kind of an effect. And after Shabbos, they actually saw that was very successful. This experimental remedy or medication or whatever you want to call it, treatment. And he was able to go out of the hospital, which is like a very, very rare percentage of people. And would have this kind of a recovery. It was really miraculous. He was able to go back to the New York area, and he had to go to therapy and all these things. But he was alive, and he was going to be all right. And he is all right. Thank God. He's very healthy, very strong. You'd never think that this happened to him. I never thought. Anyway, but the way that he tells the story is kind of interesting, how out of the blue, a couple of months later, the family gets a call regarding his sister who's not married. She was older for the crowd that they're in, and for the kila that they're in, and the bacher was a little bit older also for their liking, and they were about to reject this whole idea of setting them up together to see if it's shaykh or not for a shidduch. However, the mother recognized the name, and that was the bacher, the yeshiva student, that came to help her son out. And he was such a wonderful individual, so helpful, so sensitive, so thoughtful. She said immediately, yes, we should definitely consider it. And they actually got married. So the Baal HaMaisa, the individual, says the story, a neighbor of mine, which really inspired me this whole season, actually, really kind of admits, he basically says that he had to be sick to such an extent that his mother would have to come. And then, not only that his mother had to come, but also it would be too hard for her to take care of him. So they would have to send somebody else to help her out. And then that individual that his mother was aided by, they met each other. Otherwise, they would never have met. Through this meeting, they're able to actually get his sister and her husband together. So Shem basically has a lot of interesting ways of working and putting people together. But I thought that it was really interesting how, even in the state of being an invalid, in a sense, and he's completely like on death's bed, you don't think that he is helping, you don't think that he's doing anything, who knows if he's even going to live. But that situation itself, in that situation itself, he was actually helping. He was like a shamash, so to speak. He was kind of like uniting individuals together. Hashem used that dark moment, that dark time, and nevertheless, even though it looked so bleak and it looked so hopeless in a sense, that was actually a candle. That was actually a certain kind of a dark candle to illuminate and to unite in a very, very unexpected way. So you have candles like, Shner Zalman. Shner Zalman is like two lights. You have lights that basically are illuminating, and then you have lights that are more dark lights. You have also, in terms of his name, that is alluding to the revealed aspects of Torah and the hidden aspects of Torah. So you have lights that are more revealed, and you have lights that are not revealed, that are more hidden. This story really kind of took this, the message of the story really kind of got me personally, and I always say the story of Baruch Mezibuzh on Chanukah, and in light of the story, it completely gave me a whole different perspective on it. Every year I try to have a little different highlight on the story, but let me share with you the story. On the first night of Chanukah, Baruch Mezibuzh, he had all of his congregation by him, and they're all about to light the candle, the first candle of Chanukah. And everybody was excited. You have a fervor in the air. It's such a beautiful holiday. And the shamash, the shamash of the shul, he goes and with the shamash of the candle, he lights the first Chanukah candle. Now, something really strange happened, and that flame started flickering and dancing, and then it kind of like flew away. Now the shamash, as everybody else, thought that the flame was extinguished and they have to relight it. But Baruch Mezibuzh, says no. The flame went on to a certain mission, and he's going to come back. We're going to wait for it to come back. And they're sitting and they're waiting for a few hours, long hours, and then all of a sudden they see like a certain flickering light, flickering flame. And then, as the flickering flame came, there's also somebody that came through the door, a chassid that came together, and the flame went on to the first candle, and that was it. It came back. Now they saw how the flame and the individual came at the same time, so they saw that there's a connection. And they asked the chassid, "What happened? Why did he came so late? What's the story? What's going on?" They haven't seen him for a long time. And he said that he had a burning desire to come to Baruch Mezibuzh for Chanukah. Her life is hard, and he needed to be inspired, and he really wanted to be by the Rebbe to get that extra light to illuminate his own personal darkness. And he decided he's going to travel, but there's a lot of delays on the way. And even though in those days they only traveled during the day, and nighttime was kind of dangerous, he decided he's going to do it also in the nighttime as well. And he went on, on this escapade also in the nighttime. And unfortunately for him, robbers, they saw him and they basically decided to get him, because they thought he was a very big veer, rich individual. Otherwise, why would he be traveling in the nighttime? And they could get his money. So here they are, and they got him. And they're asking for the money, and he doesn't have any money. He's just a simple guy, and he's trying to explain to them, he's going to the holy rabbi to be inspired for the holiday of Chanukah, miracle of lights. And he also needs a miracle in his own life, and he really wanted to go to ask for a blessing by the Rebbe. And they search and they threaten and they give him a hard time. And after this begging and his pleading, and he's telling them again and again that he's just trying to go to see his rabbi, somehow these words, these innocent words, they trickled into the heart of the leader of the pack. And he said to him, I don't know why, but I'm starting to believe you. But I think I'm going to set you free. However, I'm going to set you free into the forest. The forest, the end of the forest, that's where Mezibuzh is. But even we are afraid to go into the forest because you have such wild animals over there. So we're afraid to go there. But I think that there might be something true to what you're saying. So maybe in the merit of your rabbi, maybe in the merit of this time of Chanukah, this miraculous time, you will be saved. But please do me a favor. If you do reach the end of the forest, it's a sign so that everything what you're saying is true. Take your scarf and throw it to the side of the road by the sign for the Mezibuzh. I'm going to go there in the morning and see. If you survived, I'll take that as a sign that, I should change my life. I should do tshuva. I should change my life and not be a robber anymore and live a good life, live a proper life. So the chassid is, on one hand, he's elated. They're letting him go. But on the other hand, he's terrified. He's going into this very fierce, scary forest. So he goes on the wagon, and the horse goes into the night, this dark night, and as they enter the forest, they go deeper and deeper into the forest. They hear these howls and these animal sounds, and then all of a sudden, these howling sounds come closer and closer, and soon they're surrounded by wolves. Now the horse is terrified, as is the chassid, and as they go closer, the horse freezes, and the chassid is about to say the last shema of his life. This is going to be it, he thought. But then, out of the blue, came this flickering flame, and this flame was right in front of the horse. And then the wolves saw that fire, and they retreated, a little bit more. And the chassid saw that as an opportunity, and then he had the horse go forward, and the flame went ahead and ahead and ahead, and they were able to go forward and forward and forward, led by the flame. And after a while, they lost the wolves, and they went through the whole forest throughout the whole night with this flame leading them out of the forest. Now, by daybreak, they get to the end of the forest, and here they are, and they see the sign, the post, and he remembers to take off his scarf and to throw it over there, so the head of the robbers, will be able to come in the morning and see it and change his life around. Now they went to Mezibuzh, and here they came. So this year, in light of my neighbor's story about his own personal experience with losing his muscles, but that was really for the ultimate good of his sister and her husband to be, and to unite them, this year, this story with Baruch and Mezibuzh takes on a different light. The whole escape of the individual, the chassid, wasn't, his success was not escaping the robbers and continuing on his journey. His success was encountering this individual, encountering the darkness. And that darkness itself was for a good reason. Is to change that individual, to change him over. Sometimes we are faced with dark situations, but in light of this, those dark situations are opportunities that maybe we don't see at the moment, but there's a hidden light in those opportunities or in these situations for the greater good. Now, as we know, regarding candles and regarding like one candle, every mitzvah that a person does is like a candle, like the one little candle. And a person might think, what's my mitzvah, or what's my contribution? What could it do really? It's just insignificant. It's just one little candle. Who cares? So also, today is the Yom Hilula of the Rambam, and there's one very famous, amongst many teachings of the Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva, that a person should always contemplate in his mind that he and the world, she and the world, whatever it might be, are in a balance, and there's a scale of good and evil. And even one thought, one utterance, one deed of good could tip the scales for the whole world, for one's personal world, and also the world at large for the good. So everything that a person can think of in the positive realm, any speech that could be done in a positive realm, mitzvahs, Torah, holiness, or any action, is crucial because it actually tips the scales for the entire world for good. Now, in light of that, pun intended, there's a certain innovation innovative thought that I had years ago as a gift for a friend called Mayor Rhodes. In light of the saying, Ani nivresi l'shamash eskoini, I was created to serve my Maker. So this is a very powerful statement. I mean, it's people are looking their whole life. What's my meaning? What's my mission? What's my purpose? Is this point blank says what your mission statement is in life. Your mission is not for any other purpose. It's just to serve your Maker, to fulfill your mission here on earth for Hashem. And there's a wordplay that could be had. Ani nivresi, I was created l'shamish. L'shamish is to serve, but also it's another word. There's another word that could be related to shemesh. Shemesh means sun. So if we use that, we could say Ani nivresi, I was created l'shamish or l'shemesh, to be like a sun, to illuminate, to exude light, to be a light source. As koini, what should I light? What am I lighting exactly? I'm illuminating the area that I'm with, that I'm in, the people that I'm with, whatever it might be, with the awareness of godliness. Also, another thing this year that kind of came to me with this idea is, Ani nivresi, I was created l'shamish, to be like a shamish, just like with a shamish candle for Chanukah, that it's helping to light other candles. And every individual is considered to be, every neshama is considered to be like, every soul is like a candle. So I was created to also ignite the light, ignite the souls of my fellow humans around me, my fellow Yidden around me, and ignite them with the awareness of godliness as well. Maybe that's why we're doing this right now. And this year as well, I kind of introduced this idea that the Rebbe always wanted our personal contributions, not just actions, not just speech, not just thought, but also, all of these things, but also like our thought, like our innovations, our personal observations of Torah. And there's all these places all over the world that actually gather these innovative thoughts of students, and they are there to present them to the world. Also, the Baal Shem Tov, he said, the Rebbe mentioned this over 1,000 times by Farbrengen, that you should learn from everything that you hear and you see, and everybody has something that they see that is different from everybody else, so everybody's perspective is a little bit different. So I presented this to my family, and I want to share with you a couple of ideas that some of my kids came up with. One of them is Shneur Zalman. He mentioned this idea that you have all these different kinds of menorahs. You have very, very fancy menorahs, you have very simple menorahs, and he equated them to different kinds of individuals. Some are really impressive, like tzaddikim, or really high-level scholars with a lot of Torah knowledge, and then you have some people that are more simple, kind of like simpler menorahs. However, he pointed out that no matter how the menorah is and how fancy or how simple it is, the light on top is the same. Uniting the common denominator is that light. The light that's on top of them, the light that they exude is the same. That's the neshama. The neshama is one. That's one innovation. Another innovation, or chiddush from David Yeridia, he had a few, I'm just going to share one, is that the flame, if you look at the flame, it goes high, it goes up. And when does it actually flicker and kind of dance around? Only when there's like some wind, like there's a little wind or whatever it is, or somebody passes by, and that kind of disturbs the nature, so to speak, of the candle. Instead of going high, going upwards, it goes to the side. It kind of is a little challenged. So he was saying how naturally a Jew always goes up to Hashem, is connected with Hashem. However, sometimes there's external factors that basically are disturbing. So therefore, a person might appear to sway this way or sway to the other direction and seemingly not go up. However, that's not how the nature of the neshama is. The nature of the Jew, the nature of the soul, is that it's always cleaving and going higher to Hashem. It's always connected to Hashem, but only external aspects and external occurrences give the illusion that it's swaying from this upward connection. And also, last but not least, Dober Yosef, he brought this idea that just like the candles basically are going down, and you bring and as the oil goes down and lower and lower and lower, we light with the oil candles or vessels of oil for the menorah for Chanukah. So the light is actually brought down. So just like the light is brought down as the oil is being consumed, so too we want to bring down Mashiach and bring down the Mashiach light, and also we do it eight nights. So 8 is also like higher than nature, the supernatural light. So we should see that with Mashiach coming. And thank you very much for listening, and I hope it was illuminating.